Joining me now is Annie Cyrus to talk about what just happened in Minneapolis from a perspective that almost no media outlet is talking about, but this one. And of course, Annie's part of that network and has her own Substack where she's talking about it as well. And then we want to talk about this little gal right here. I think her name is Lola. Have any of you seen this video go viral? I can't play the audio because they get some cussing in there. But this little gal, these little gals overseas are tired of apparently being accosted and some of them sexually assaulted in this country. And apparently when she was confronted, boom, out comes the axe and the little sword. And I think there's a bigger story behind this. And she's being made into a heroine by many people. They're now taking her picture and turning it into a poster and saying, look, this little gal's sick of it, and she's going to defend herself and her family and her friends. And there she is. I wouldn't want to be messing with her. Let's find out what this is really all about. Let's start with that one. That one is very intriguing. Her name is Lola. Annie, welcome back to the broadcast. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me back, Brandon.
Where is Lola? What country is she in?
If I got the reports correct, she is in UK.
Oh.
Yes, she is in UK.
She's a little Scottish girl. She's 12.
She's 13.
She was defending her 13-year-old sister.
Oh, okay. So the older sister is 13.
Yep.
There you go.
Defending her 13-year-old sister, Ruby, who was attacked and beaten and hospitalized by 2 foreign nationals. What have they done to her? Hopefully they haven't arrested her or charged her or anything, have they?
The story on the GoFund says that she was arrested, actually. She was arrested. There is no record if she has been set free, on bail or anything, but on the GoFundMe page, it does say that she got arrested because the report goes with where we have this GoFundMe to get ahead of all the legal fees they're going to have to face. She was arrested. The other guy, however, was not arrested. And here's the part you don't see on the video. You do hear her. The camera person behind the camera is a man. My best guess they throw a couple of Arabic words in there. So the pronunciation, the accent, and the fact that I actually couldn't understand 2 of the Arabic words, and that normally goes under Egyptian Arabic or Syrian Arabic that I always struggle to understand. So one of those countries could be where they're from, foreign. There's a woman also who's talking in a few Arabic words with the guy. Apparently that woman, the foreign national woman, ends up attacking after Lola kind of slowly walks away. She attacks the sister, the older girl in the video. And as she's kicking her on the ground, Lola comes back attacking her. So the police use the excuse that Lola attacked the foreign national woman and arrested her, but they never arrested the foreign national woman who kicked Ruby. Which I'm not surprised because that's a double standard everywhere, not just wherever that was. But and then the backstory is before time and time over, the 2 sisters and their other friend have been verbally abused by, we're going to keep going with foreign, or we're just going to call it the Muslim refugees in Europe. I think we should just do that. Abused verbally, sexual comments made towards them, few times touched. So if anybody's questioning why would a 12-year-old suddenly be so aggressively triggered, this is why. They complained and complaints were nowhere. Nobody bothered. It's kind of, what do? You realize you're on your own. And at age 12, I guess there is no Second Amendment wherever she's at. Therefore, she figures I'm just going to have all of these weapons, cold weapons that I guess she knows how to use or she feels comfortable with. I don't necessarily, it breaks my heart, Brian, when I saw this video the first time, on a personal note, I started seeing my own face on her for a minute. I'm like, why am I understanding your frustration so good right now? It's heartbreaking that a 12-year-old need to get to a point of doing what she did. I don't necessarily approve of her method, but then I completely understand why she would do what she did.
Well, she's kind of becoming an icon. Here's a cartoon. Why aren't there any men helping us? Britain has no men. We're on our own.
That's what I figured. She is a Scottish, but this video was like they're in UK, because that's what I read on so many of the reports that this was in UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, a long time ago, I think if I'm correct, in 2019, one of the questions you asked me while producing your 8-hour documentary, The Siege, you actually asked me, said, Annie, why are these Muslim men in Europe easily, raping European girls and women? And why are the women are being told, if you get into a cab or an Uber, keep your head down and don't look at the man? Remember that question?
Oh, yeah, sure do.
9 years ago. And today, finally, women and girls are fed up. It's so frustrating when they know nobody's coming to rescue them. How many more grooming cases need to be closed without any indictments and any guilty verdicts until girls realize they're on their own? Nobody's coming to rescue them in Europe.
Let's switch. Well, pray for Lola and her family. That's terrible. Let's switch to the tragic shooting in Minneapolis. We had other topics. We mentioned it briefly yesterday, but we had other topics we already had scheduled and done a lot of work and research on. But at the same time, we like to kind of let things play out a little bit, because after that, we start getting more information, more accurate information. And this is something that, really you and I have been talking about now for so many years, the red-green axis. This you've written a Substack on it, I think. This killing in Minneapolis is a red-green axis terrorist attack, was it not? Embodied in one person.
Let me make sure. Yes, I literally started my Substack. Well, I titled the Substack. If you were ever going to witness red-green axis in action, you did. Yesterday in Minneapolis. You watched it. By definition of what a lot of people don't understand. When even a non-Muslim, the man who has never said the Shahada, is a soldier of red-green axis. That's what this guy was about. And I've been heavily attacked today, Brennan, due to my Substack.
Really? Why? What are people saying?
Well, apparently me saying, I didn't even say wrong. I said that the headlines are, the left, of course, as usual, they're calling gun control. And then you have the right who are screaming, focusing on the trans left crazy anti-Trump narrative. And then you have some of the counter jihad coverages just calling out the Islam part. I didn't even say they're all wrong. I said they're all tunnel vision. Let's look at the bigger picture. And yes, there is a difference. When it's Islam by itself, we call it jihad. When it's red-green axis, we call it red-green alliance. We cannot be so tunnel. We're so focused on one side of the problem. And apparently that was insulting. A lot of people were offended from every corner, saying, somebody actually wrote me a response to my Substack saying, it's disappointing for you to try to brush off the Islam part of it. I'm like, no, I didn't. Green on red green is the Islam part. So I want to be very clear again. Yes, all of those elements are part of what happened, but those elements together create red green. If we constantly look at one side and not the other, we will constantly have blood of our innocent children on the floors of schools, churches, and synagogues.
And then, of course, at some point, this kid, he's showing his clips, and I apologize for the swearing on here, the F word on there, but we are doing the news here. At some point, he had some Arabic words or something on there about Allah or something, if Allah wills it or something, right?
MashaAllah, yes. Yes, it did. And that's the thing. You look at the poster. I phrased the poster, but here's what I did, Brandon. I spent a couple of hours, gathered all the pictures that were available, all of it, and I put them together like a collage. And I started staring at it, and that's when it's like, oh, look, red green axis, right there. Between the 6 millions wasn't enough, and Israel must fall. You see the Nazism, right? And then right in between that, you see mashallah. Again, this guy was not a convert. He was not a practicing Muslim. Then that's where the bigger danger comes in, Brennan. Where do we look now? They have their high-ranking Muslim jihadists. Now they have the secondary rank jihadists who don't even bother to say the Shahada or become a Muslim, but they're fighting for them.
6 million
Yes,
wasn't enough. 6 million, he says, was not enough. And then he's got that Mashallah.
Mashallah.
Is that how you say it?
Yes, mashallah. Which is it's a very well-known Arabic phrase, but most of the time when you see a non-Arabic speaking person spells it out, they misspell it. Just like most of the time they misspell Allahu Akbar. This guy had it right, perfectly properly spelled with English alphabet.
And why would, I know he went to the school. I guess his mom reportedly taught at the school. But why would he attack the Catholic school? The Catholics aren't like, I mean, we have a lot of Catholic viewers I know, so I'm not trying to stir up trouble or insult anybody, but you know that there's a tension between a lot of Catholics and Jews, but there's a lot of tension between Christians and Jews because, as my friend Arnold Fruchtenbaum, Jewish, says, he's a Messianic Jew, meaning he believes Yeshua is Messiah. He says, we have to understand, a lot of the Jews hear the word Christian and they think Nazi Germany because Hitler claimed to be Christian, right? He wasn't, but he claimed to be. It was politically expedient, like a lot of politicians. Some of the churches over there would display the cross and the Nazi symbol at the same time at their ceremonies or their conventions, their church conventions. The different denominations in Germany, Protestant, dissolved their denominations and united under the Reich bishop handpicked by Adolf Hitler. Mueller was his name. So when Jews hear the word Christian, they get nervous until they're like, oh, you're a Christian Zionist. Okay. Then they get a little more, okay. But the word Christian is a problem for them. When they hear Catholic, they might have a problem because there's always been, that the Jews were the Christ killers. So there is that tension between the Catholics and the Protestants. The Catholics and the Protestants have this tension with Jews, and we sometimes have to explain to them, hey, wait a minute, well, I'm not one of those. I'm a Christian Zionist. But the Catholic Church, by and large, and again, I'm not trying to label everyone the same thing because there are some Catholics that would be considered Zionists. They're Zionists. But as a historical deal, a lot of the Catholic Church isn't really known for being Zionist, are they, Annie?
No, they're not. And that is the one and only question I did propose on my Substack. If this guy's agenda was his hatred for Trump and he felt unaccepted by society due to being a trans and just hated Israel, why would he go into a Catholic school? And the answer to that question is the narrative has gone so deep in our country, in America, when you have streets and schools and city halls and campuses filled with pro-Hamas narrative, they don't sit there and think, Brennan, what is the difference between a Christian Zionist versus Messianic Jew versus Catholic? Question is, are you a Muslim? No. Okay, you shall be killed. Do you hate Israel and you want to kill all Jews? No. Okay, then I'll kill you. That's their bottom line. While we're so busy fighting each other, I don't fight others, but a lot of people fight me over what you just described and explained. While we're busy, Christians busy fighting each other over Zionism was Christ's teaching or not. And if you're a Zionist, you're not a true Christian. If you're a Catholic, you're not a true Christian. We're becoming the new face of Islam, where if Sunni, Shia, Wahhabis kill each other, right? Except that we don't kill each other, we just, disown each other. While we're trying to spread that division, the red-green axis is taking us out regardless of which the side of aisle we belong to. And that's the biggest problem we're facing. People need to stop. I'm gonna pretend like what you just said was a direct question to me, and I always answer it this way. Did Hitler claim to be a Christian? Yes. Do you find a verse in Bible that says kill all Jews? No. End of story. Did Pharisees vote for crucifixion of Christ? Yes. Do you find anything in their book that says kill non-believers? No. But guess where you do find it? In the Quran. So the claim of a faith is different than the actual faith. For anyone who hides behind, well, Hitler was a Christian, well, Pharisees were a Jew, well, that guy who went and killed other people was a Christian, there is a difference. Yes, we have Christians who commit unforgivable sins by humans, not by God. Yes, we have Jews who self-sabotage because they're not well informed. But Muslims do what they do because it has been dictated to them through their quote-unquote religion. That's where we draw the line. Unless I missed those verses in Bible. Did I?
No. In fact, Genesis 12, verse 3 says, I'll bless those who bless you, I'll curse those who curse you, talking about the Jews, and that Israel will be a blessing to all the nations. Now, some of that, I think, doesn't get explained very well. I think one of the ways we bless the Jewish people is by sharing the gospel with them, the same way we bless anybody, right? What's the greatest blessing of all? The birth of Jesus Christ and his laying down his life. He who knew no sin became sin for us that we might become the righteousness of God. The greatest blessing you can give to someone is explaining the gospel to them, including Jews. I'll bless those who bless you. Well, how do we bless our Jewish friends? We share Jesus with them. Like my friend Olivia Melnick, Messianic Jew. My friend Arnold Frutenbaum, Messianic Jew. My friend Marty Getz, Messianic Jew. Right?
Aaron Lavarco, right?
Aaron, yes. Aaron Lavarco, reporter in Israel, Messianic Jew. Now, do I have friends that aren't Messianic? Yeah, I do. Do some of them have a little frustration with the Messianic Jews? Some of them do. Some of them do, yeah. For some reason, they don't have a frustration with me. They like me, even though they don't, but they know I'm a Christian Zionist. But they have a little bit of a problem with the Messianic Jews because there's some tension there between the Jews and the Messianic Jews. But the reality is, someone took the time to share the gospel with all of those Messianic Jews. They will tell you it's the greatest blessing they ever received. And some of those people that did that were Gentiles, by the way. Uh-huh. And then it says that the nation of Israel will be a blessing to the whole world. You'll be a blessing to the nations. Well, in many regards, Israel even today has blessed us with technology, fruit, flowers to the world, technology, hydration, making water right out of the air that can be used for growing things, medicine, cell phones, thumb drives. I can keep going on. But reality
Can I add one very major blessing to the list you just gave?
Yeah.
Israel has also been the front shield against Islamic jihad, protecting us.
That's a
If
great
Israel
point.
wasn't there, all those jihadists would be here.
That's a great point. And I think that blessing of Israel being a blessing to the nations, a lot of that will be fulfilled in the millennial kingdom. Because the Israel will be the center point of where Christ is ruling and reigning. And we just got done studying that in the first part of Revelation chapter 20. We're now going into more detail on that in our next study after Labor Day. And the nations are all coming to Israel. They're coming to Jerusalem. They're coming there to worship the Lord and to bring, pay homage or pay worship. So at some point, Israel, Jerusalem itself will be a blessing to all the other nations in the millennial kingdom. So I think even aspects of Genesis 12, verse 3 are now and then also into the future in the millennial kingdom. And we'll find out just how that is the case. But these are conversations that people don't want to have because they don't want to pick a side on Bible prophecy, right? And they don't seem to understand these things. And sadly, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I've interviewed several times, and I agree with her on so much, but she keeps going on Steve Bannon, and they're talking about things like, you know, Israel's using aid to starve the Gazans and different things have been reported. I'm just getting tired of the fact that we can't have a conversation and understand what's going on in that region and separate fact from fiction and stop buying into the propaganda. Is Israel a perfect nation? No, they are not. Neither are we. But I don't see Israel starving them. But yet this is coming out of MAGA. So we've got a problem in the churches of America. We've got a church problem in MAGA. And people say, well, you're just a propagandist yourself, House, for Zionism. Well, I know people may say that, but you and I deal with facts. We're not propagandizing. We're dealing with facts. Israel is not a perfect nation, and I don't really trust some of their government, right? Well, but I don't trust my own federal government a lot of the time. But I'm separating the Jewish people and their historical and biblical right from the land from the government. But I'm really frustrated that MAGA and so much of even the Christianity in America just doesn't want to have the kind of conversations we're having right now.
Yes, and it's very interesting you went there with the conversation. By the way, side note, Representative Green and Steve Bannon, if you got a minute, there's a Substack I released titled, Who's Starving Gaza? Read that with receipt, fact, from the mainstream reporting. I put the proof on the table that Israel is not blocking roads. They are allowing trucks in. And who's starving Gaza has nothing to do with Israel and everything to do with Hamas, with the new checkpoint members over there who are literally stealing trucks, admitting that they are stealing it, but because Hamas is stealing more, then they're not guilty of anything. I also mentioned that whilst you sit on different shows screaming about Israel is starving Gaza, 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 how come you're not sitting there and saying, hey, why is Egypt not opening the border for aid to go in? Because for the record, Gaza also have a shared border with Egypt, and Egypt government has very clear said we are not opening that border because we do not want to deal with Palestinians. How come we're not all going after Egypt? I don't know. But if they need information, I've been providing information. Now, back to what you were saying. Also, something I brought up today again, Brennan, on a discussion was one of the ways we can bless Israel is actually by calling out the government of Israel when there's corruption, when there's wrongdoing. I remember you, Brennan, on your program, came out very much, called out Netanyahu and his entire administration when they turned their citizens into lab rats during COVID.
Yep.
You did that.
Yep.
That is blessing Israel. Because remember, anti-Semitism is when you are hostile to a Jew. Criticism is not hostility. So we are, yes, we're Christian Zionists. We don't turn our back on the land or the people, but we also do our jobs and we call out corruption or wrongdoing of the government of Israel, just like we do it with our own government or any other government. The problem, Brannon, is people have become so lazy that trying to differentiate, trying to draw lines, trying to connect dots equals too much work. Therefore, they just grab a big, giant, generic brush over every topic and every subject.
Mm-hmm. And I asked on radio today, is the polling such in Georgia, which is supposed to be part of the Bible Belt, is the polling in Georgia such that conservatives and Christians in her district, Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, are now feeling the way they do about Israel, that she is okay as a member of Congress who's up for election every 2 years, which means she's basically campaigning constantly because it's such a short 24-month window? Is the polling data so much in agreement with her that she can say this. And if that's the case, then we have a real problem in the Bible Belt, and we have a real problem amongst self-described America First and so-called conservatives, if that's where we're going as a collection of people in that supposedly conservative Bible Belt, America First realm. You think she's seeing polling data that makes her say, I can say this and it's not going to impact my reelection?
Absolutely. She has. And it's not just about her position. The same thing is applying to other people. I mean, we're both noticing after everything Tucker Carlson has done in last 3 months, his ratings are up, not down.
Have you seen the clips of Tucker Carlson talking about Islam and the old Tucker versus the new Tucker?
Yes, I have. And
It's in bookmarks, Logan? Oh, really? Right here? Oh, look at that. How'd you know I was going to use that tonight? He didn't. He just liked it and bookmarked it. Well, there you go. See, you can tell he's my son. You know, we're tracking. Okay, watch this new Tucker and old Tucker. Here we go. Watch this.
And welcome to the very first episode of Tucker Carlson Today. We had a broad range of possibilities for the first person to talk to as we begin this new show, this new series. But really, in the end, there was only one choice. The one person we know who has crystal clarity on what's happening, not just in this country, but in the world, someone who's watched it and chronicled it for years now. His name is Douglas Murray.
I know Douglas, and I think that I've always gotten along with him, and I think that he's clever, but he's hardly an expert on anything. Well, so right. Like, what?
I don't think Trump would be a good president. I think he'd probably cancel the next election if he got elected, you know.
It happened because we didn't understand the country we preside over. And by we, not just the political class in D.C., but anybody with authority or money in the United States.
Referring to Trump, Carlson says, I hate him passionately. I can't handle much more of this.
We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait, Carlson texted.
That Trump is, in his words, a demonic force, a destroyer, but he's not going to destroy us.
It's such an honor to be here, and it's wild. Just another day following Bobby Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. I mean, what?
America's supporting Israel because it's an ally.
I don't even know what those words mean. I'm just saying my principle
they're an ally, right? I mean, they both...
I don't know what that means to be an ally.
Qatar is like one of our closest allies in the world. The largest American air base in the Middle East is in Qatar. They're a close ally of ours.
The Chinese coronavirus is a major event. It will affect your life. And by the way, it's definitely not just the flu.
Was it 2012, 2013, I read up, more people died of the flu that year than COVID did.
Yeah. Would you know anyone who died of COVID?
Did people really die of COVID?
I don't know. I never knew anyone who did.
Nuclear technology, they've only been used once. If you end up killing, incinerating tens of thousands of civilians, that's just a bad thing. Let's just be honest, that's just a bad thing.
And I just don't understand why you're not calling for the use of nuclear weapons against the Ayatollah right now. I'm serious. If you really believe they're trying to murder...
The use of nuclear weapons,
whatever
that's part
it
of the
takes.
problem.
So you're a 15 or 16, 17-year-old boy. You are driven by biology to procreate.
Yes.
So you're either going to be inflicting your attentions on one of your peers who is, let's be honest, not ready for it. She's going to get hurt emotionally. Or you can have a safer, albeit technically illegal, outlet with a woman who knows what she's doing. You're not going to hurt her. You know what I mean? Like, this is harm reduction.
Now admitting that Emmanuel Macron was only 14 when they met, when he was in that play. 15, she says, whenever this affair happened. And
I'll just go with 15 and say that's wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't that child molestation?
Theme, it's the larger point that Buchanan is making, that perhaps American involvement in World War II was a mistake. That people are upset about, and that I think you can take him to task over, because I think it's a wrong and in some ways an odious point.
I think the story we got about World War II is all wrong. I think that's right.
And you could hardly say that this country won that war. In what meaningful sense?
The summer after my freshman year, my roommate and I decided to go down to Nicaragua for the summer and work and, get involved in the war. I think anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose his citizenship immediately. Sharia is intolerant. Women have, in the Quran, fewer rights than men do. I think that in every Muslim majority country in the world, non-Muslims are treated, have fewer rights.
Sharia law is bad.
Seth. I don't know if you've heard that. It's bad. It's worse than what's happening in New York and Detroit. It's just bad.
Does he have Asperger's? Has anyone ever asked him that?
I was just thinking, is he possessed?
Well,
I'm sorry.
Didn't he say he was attacked by a demon?
Did he?
Yeah.
Did he misspoke?
He said
he meant to say I was purchased.
He said he was attacked by a demon. And it left marks on him. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
The presence of evil is kickstarting people to wonder about the good.
That's what happened to me.
That's what happened to you?
Oh, yeah. I had a direct experience with it.
In the milieu of journalism or just...
Nope, in my bed at night, and I got attacked while I was asleep with my wife and 4 dogs in the bed and mauled. Physically mauled.
In a spiritual attack by a demon?
Yeah, by a demon. Or by something unseen that left...
Is that right?
Claw marks on my sides, on my...
So it left physical marks?
Oh, they're still there. Yeah. A year and a half ago.
Was your wife terrified? I know you were.
I wasn't. I was totally confused. I woke up and I couldn't breathe and I thought I was going to suffocate, and I walked around outside, and then I walked in and my wife and dogs had not woken up, and they're very light sleepers. And then I had these terrible pains on my rib cage and on my shoulder, and I was just in my boxer shorts, and I went and flipped on the light in the bathroom, and I had 4 claw marks on either side underneath my arms and on my left shoulder, and they're bleeding.
Wait, they were bleeding?
They were bleeding, yeah. No, they're actual claw marks. And I sleep on my side, so I wasn't clawing myself. I don't have long nails. And they didn't fit my hands anyway. But yeah, that happened. So I'm not from a world where things like that happen. I never heard of anything like that happening before. I had no idea what that was. I knew it was spiritual immediately.
You did? Okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
There we go. We have our answers. I'm so glad you played that, because most of my questions are answered now.
Why, Annie?
I mean, I guess if it was bleeding, there was an infection that was never taken care of, and that demon got into him. And honestly, those laughters are just creepy.
Right? Aren't they?
I felt more uncomfortable than I have ever felt listening to Kamala laugh. But again, you know, just follow the money. The popularity, the rating, the views, the clicks, that's where Tucker is at.
He's more popular now than ever.
Yeah, because that's the thing. The video from the time of, you know, women in the Quran have lesser rights than man, which is one of the most accurate things I've ever heard, by the ways, because that's lesser, not less, because man don't have as many rights as we have either here as freedom. But that time was when the entire country was very much, you know, up in arms about counter jihad and we got to stop the Islamization. So it fit the narrative of popularity back then. But then things changed. Anti-Semitism became fashion. Pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas, pro-Sharia became a thing. So he switched the narrative. And I think it's going to get worse. With Tucker and Candace, it's going to get worse.
How about with the whole MAGA movement? How about with the America First movement? How about with so-called Christians? How long is it, Annie, before... I mean, already, I don't have hardly anything to do with any of the churches in our area because most of them aren't churches. They're social clubs. They don't, most of them teach the Bible. If they do, they don't teach it in context. I mean, there's a church right up the road that we wanted to rent. I've told the story a million times. We wanted to rent their fellowship hall a few years ago for our Contend conference for young people. It was a free apologetics worldview conference. We had like 500 young people from all over the country. And we did this like 3 years in a row. And we wanted to rent their building to use. And the church up the road said, what are you going to be talking about? And I gave them the list. And in the list was creation versus evolution. And the church administrator stopped me and he said, do you have to speak on something so controversial? I'm like, you mean creation versus evolution? Okay. The known laws of the universe apply to reality versus evolution. Billions and billions of good mutations, supposedly, right? That you have intelligence coming from non-intelligence, matter from non-matter. Everything is contradictory of the known laws of the universe. This is controversial. This is a church in our area that is considered conservative. And then one Sunday, one of these associate pastors was preaching, and he was preaching that the rapture had already happened. I'm like, oh, wow, we are all toast. Did you guys realize we've been left behind?
He actually claimed that rapture has already happened?
Oh, yeah, this is called preterism or partial preterism. Very, very growing and popular. And so this is what you got going on. And when you, between, pastors in the area caught plagiarizing their sermons to, all kinds of other shenanigans going on, there's just nothing left in the area, okay? Then you got Masons sitting on deacon boards, Masons. At the highest levels of the Masons are the Shriners, who wear their little red hat with the crescent moon and sword of Islam and swear allegiance to Allah. And these guys are deacons in local Baptist churches. I mean, there's nothing left to go to here in this area. And I've been here 21 years next year. So I'm telling you, I know the area. Not that there aren't a few smaller, good Bible teaching churches to a degree. I actually take that back. To a degree, they'll say, it's okay. Sunday, we got a good sermon. The next Sunday, it was off the wall. The next Sunday, it's off the wall. Then we get a good sermon. So it depends. It's inconsistent, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't walk in and get a sermon and go, wow, that was actually pretty good. But the next week, you have no idea what you're going to get. And they're certainly never going to talk about any of the issues of the day and say, let's go to the Bible. Because they don't want to take a stand on most of these issues. And this is in the stinking Bible Belt, right? But the point I'm making is we're already not comfortable with the majority of the churches in America today. We don't fit in with the majority of so-called Christianity in America today, what we believe, what a lot of this audience believes, what those that listen to my 74 Christian radio stations I'm on every day believe. We're already not welcome in the Republican Party. They don't follow the platform. They don't like the platform. And so what I'm asking is, give it a few more years. The churches, many of them don't accept our position on Israel. They don't accept our position on so many issues. You and I and the viewers of this audience are being increasingly marginalized and characterized, and we don't have, many of us, churches. We don't have a political party. We don't have affiliations that we really fit in anymore other than each other, which is why our network is growing, because more of these people that have no place to find common ground, well, they're finding us. But you and I are finding that even the MAGA world, the America First world now, is being infiltrated and leaving us behind.
Absolutely. And I really think in a couple of years, Brandon, we won't have many churches left.
I
End
agree.
of story.
100%.
A lot of these churches that are already infiltrated, they're going to become Chrislam churches. They're going to be so deeply involved with interfaith dialogue that there won't be much churches. And the small group of churches that might still be standing and open, they're not going to be safe at all. And as far as MAGA and America First, my own reasoning to walk away from MAGA, the hardest moment in my life when I had to, put aside my very gorgeous MAGA hat, not the red one, the fancy one I had, it was the moment I realized that a lot of MAGA members are forgetting who the real king is, and they're replacing him with their guy. I was like, I can't been there, remember? Raised in a cult. I see a cult when I spot one. Like, there's no way anybody can hide this cult system from me. Not saying Trump created the cult. The followers created the cult for themselves. So that was my moment. And yes, any person we know, anyone out there, I mean, he's the only way. So if anybody believes that except Jesus, anyone else can save us, then we know where that's going. They will betray those of us who do believe.
Well, Laura Loomer is now all over social media talking about all the Islamists that are still in the Trump administration and the State Department. She's naming them and calling them out.
Well, forget about those who are still there. Remember that I came on your show with a long expose of the 4 new ones coming in?
One that just did 20 years in jail, right?
Exact. Convicted, judge for 20 years, served 13 years. But yes, it's okay. We can say he missed those who are still. He welcomed new ones. And he's still welcoming more new ones.
And why was that guy in jail again?
He was convicted of training and funding terrorism.
And he's on the
terrorists.
And he's on the faith-based initiative, right?
Yes, absolutely. Right inside the White House. Right inside the White House. He walks right into the White House every day, especially Fridays for Friday Islamic prayer.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to see, by the way, before we close, do you want to see the border between Egypt and Gaza? Look at this. What's that, Logan?
Look at that.
Isn't that something, Annie?
Right? Nobody is calling Egypt, I don't know, Islamophobe, occupier, I don't know, whatever they call us, right? Nobody's calling. It's amazing, Brandon, that a lot of people didn't know. Like, seriously, have you ever even looked at the map? Or you just watch the map mainstream media shows you?
Yeah, they don't realize Egypt butts right up next to part of Gaza, do they?
The majority of numbers of comments on my Who's a Starving Gaza Substack was, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, that's why it's in there. Because I know how things work. I know how information is being fed to public. And until today, everybody's keeping Egypt out of it. And by the way, I'm not blaming Egypt. Good for them. They got their own Islamic issues. But point is, most Americans then weren't even aware that there's a second country to bring in and blame and attack. But no.
Are you hearing that Egypt is going to start training like 10,000 soldiers to go into Gaza and help clean it up? Are you hearing that?
I have not heard that from a reliable source. I have seen, but I have not been able to actually confirm. I almost highly doubt it because Egypt has been very clear where they stand from day one.
Yeah, it did seem a little hard to believe when I read the report too. I'm like, oh, really? Are they really going to go? I don't see them wading into that.
No, Egypt has been very clear that they don't want to have any part, good, bad, or ugly. They don't want to have anything to do with that Gaza area. Nothing. If it one day they did, the last time, the press release was about Gaza from Egypt, they did say if one day Gaza becomes a civilized town, we might start doing business with them. But the walls aren't coming down. Even then, the walls aren't coming. See? They even have walls.
Let me ask you this in closing. What do you think is going on with the ships and troops being sent to Venezuela?
That is something I wish we had an hour to talk about. There's a lot for me to say about that, Brennan. A lot.
Does it have anything to do with Iran? Does it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll make a bullet point, and if there's time available next week, I will come back to literally open it up for your audience. But here's the thing. Quick connecting dots. When I released my Iran nuclear bomb plan B Substack, I named Venezuela as the biggest key player in bomb without borders made by Iran outside of Iran through its ally countries. Venezuela has the longest paragraph of explanation. Also, I mean, you have reported, I have reported on the connection between not just Iran, specifically IRGC owning Venezuela's land to do whatever they need to do, building missiles, smuggling their people, getting their people through Venezuela safely to Mexican cartels to come into the U.S., all of that. Now, recently, the last man standing that I still trust in Trump administration, Hegseth, came out and confirmed that U.S. Air Force has requested 16 replicate made of Iran's Shahed 361 missiles. And immediately my question is, wait, why? They claim for training. No, they want to study Shahed 361 because Shahed 361 is mainly produced in Venezuela. So when they go in, they know what to look for, they know where to go, and they know how to defuse. That's the shortest version of it, but I do believe this is 100% about shutting down IRGC in Venezuela.
And one of the other benefits, of course, is there's lots of oil there, so maybe we're going after some oil.
Well, but that's the thing. We know we cannot get to that oil unless we clean up IRGC from Venezuela. That's a given fact nobody can argue. Yes, we're going to clean them up first.
And I guess the ships have arrived. Here we go. Listen to this.
7 vessels, including 3 guided missile destroyers, to the waters off Venezuela to combat threats from Latin American drug cartels. Venezuela's defense minister announcing a significant drone deployment in response, including naval patrols along the Caribbean coast. Congressman, I want to get your reaction to this.
So is it really about the drug cartels, or is that just one of many reasons? That's just cover for right now.
It is cover for now. And this is going to end up being a war between IRGC and U.S.
Could this turn
into... And I'm praying this will be the opening for Israel to go back into Iran.
Could this turn into a place where we have boots on the ground or literally fighting on the ground over there?
We shouldn't need to if it's managed properly. They don't have the manpower. They have the weaponry, but not the manpower. And the people
would probably be on our side. The people would be on our side, I think, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Because I got video of them a few years ago, one of my documentaries, under their hyperinflation, eating out of literal garbage trucks. Literally. I mean, that was the middle class. They had middle class polo button downs. They were the middle class. And they were literally having to eat out of garbage trucks.
Yes. We shouldn't need to be boots on the ground, but again, we've seen plans go wrong. Hopefully it won't this time.
And do a little more research if you can to see if there's any proof that Iran has been putting missiles in northern Venezuela and Caracas. You know,
the proof is on my Substack.
Of course it's all on your Substack.
Iran's nuclear plan B, bombs beyond borders, that Substack has the proof of IRGC not only stacking missiles, but also building missiles.
Okay. Now, you know, we've been reporting on that on Worldview Tube here on my radio show probably since like 2008, 9, or 10, somewhere in there. You can look it up in our archive. And there's a flight that goes from Tehran into Venezuela, and it's the government. So what are they doing? And there's very few people talking about this. And when you go and try to find the information, it's not easy to find. Why? I mean, and I was saying back in 2008, 9, 10, whatever it was, we started reporting on that. This could end up being our own Cuban Missile Crisis, the Venezuelan Missile Crisis, because this is 1,264 miles as the crow flies from Caracas, northern Venezuela, to Miami.
Yes. You don't think IRGC picked Venezuela randomly, do you?
No. So why?
And don't forget, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Argentina stopped a flight going to Venezuela. Every passenger was IRGC members. I mean, here's your proof right there.
And so what you're saying on your Substack is that they are putting missiles there, and it obviously is to target the U.S., and that what Trump is doing is he's going to have to do a regime change to protect America.
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, why isn't he, in your mind, why doesn't he just tell the American people? Because you and I are talking about it. I knew about it before his first term. So why is no one else talking about this?
Few reasons. Number one, unfortunately, again, popularity. Right now, American people will cheer Trump way more for fighting against drug cartels than trying to get rid of IRGC.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, he just saved the monster, Khamenei. It's kind of contradictory to say, hey, I knew who he is and what he's doing in Venezuela, but I spared his life. That could have a bad backlash. So we're keeping that part under the radar for less complication.
At what point is, and I got to let you go, but at what point is Iran pushed that they actually release one of these missiles in Venezuela that many of us believe are there?
As soon as President Trump stopped playing along and doing what some of us have been praying for him to do, meaning giving green light to Israel to go in and finish the regime. And that's what I'm saying. I think this is the backup plan. They're going to clean up Venezuela, then give Israel the green light to go in and finish.
LiveUpToFreedom.com. I mean, everything we talked about, she's got a Substack on it. That's pretty remarkable. There it is, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com, and she's on each and every day at 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern, right here on Worldview Tube. Annie Cyrus. Annie, as always, thank you.
No, of course. Can I just add one sentence before I leave? Because amazingly, such a blessing. But every time I'm on your show, and recently my go-to necklace is the one I'm wearing right now, I immediately get 5 to 7 emails asking where I got the cross because they want to get one. It's my own handmade cross, ladies. If you like to have one, just email me instead of asking where I got it. Just tell me how many in what color you want, and I will make it for you.
Well, there you go. And then you can find out more at lutfstudio.com, lutfstudio.com. There you go, liveuptofreedom.com. Those are all handmade by Annie herself. Right, Annie?
Yes, sir. All handmade by myself.
There you go. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Thank you. You too, Brennan.
liveuptofreedom.substack.com and lutfstudio.com. All right. Are you registered for our big fall conference? I keep promoting it because I want you there. We're going to be filming and live streaming, but we're also going to be filming and turning a lot of the conference into, well, a documentary coming up in 2026. We'd love to have you be a part of it. Meet these folks in person. There's the lineup. All of their bios, all their information. Just go to worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. And when you get there, you'll see a banner. You can just click that banner if you want to, and they'll bring you there. These are all the topics. Look at the amazing topics we're covering, folks. I mean, it's crazy. Cutting edge. There's their bios of all the different speakers. You don't want to miss out. Worldviewstore.com, worldviewstore.com. The schedule is there, the restaurants we recommend, the links to the hotel. Guys, we got to get the links to the hotels back. Oh, we got to get those on there because we negotiated specials with them. We got to get those back on there. But there you go, worldviewstore.com. Get registered, folks. Now, if you have a membership, whether monthly or annually, you'll be able to live stream it. But you have to have a membership to the Vault. Worldviewtube.com/vault. Worldviewtube.com/vault. And you'll be able to live stream it. But we'd much rather have you in person. Okay? We'll be right back after this break.
True beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.